Chapter 4 of Book 1 of Prior Analytics by Aristotle, translated by Octavius Owen. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Jeffrey Edwards. Chapter 4 of Syllogism and of the First Figure. These things being determined, let us now describe by what, when, and how every syllogism is produced, and let us afterwards speak of demonstration, for we must speak of syllogism prior to demonstration, because syllogism is more universal, since, indeed, demonstration is a certain syllogism, but not every syllogism is demonstration. When, then, three terms so subsist, with reference to each other, as that the last is in the whole of the middle, and the middle either is or is not in the whole of the first, then it is necessary that there should be a perfect syllogism of the extremes. But I call that the middle which is itself in another, whilst another is in it, and which also becomes the middle by position, but the extreme that which is itself in another, and in which another also is. For if A is predicated of every B, and B of every C, A must necessarily be predicated of every C, for it has been before shown how we predicate, of every, so also, if A is predicated of no B, but B is predicated of every C, A will not be predicated of any C. But if the first is in every middle, but the middle is in no last, there is not a syllogism of the extremes, for nothing necessarily results from the existence of these, since the first happens to be present with every, and with no extreme, so that neither a particular nor universal conclusion necessarily results, and nothing necessary resulting, there will not be through these a syllogism. Let the terms of being present universally be, animal, man, horse, and let the terms of being present with no one be, animal, man, stone. Example 1. Every man is an animal. No horse is a man. Every horse is an animal. Every man is an animal. No stone is a man. No stone is an animal. Since then, neither the first term is present with the middle, nor the middle with any extreme, there will not thus be a syllogism. Let the terms of being present be science, line, medicine, but of not being present, science, line, unity. Example 2. No line is science. No medicine is a line. Every medicine is science. No line is science. No unity is a line. No unity is science. The terms, then, being universal, it is manifest in this figure when there will and when there will not be a syllogism. Also, that when there is a syllogism, it is necessary that the terms should subsist, as we have said, and that if they do thus subsist, there will evidently be a syllogism. But if one of the terms be universal, and the other particular, in relation to the other, when the universal is joined to the major extreme, whether affirmative or negative, but the particular to the minor affirmative, there must necessarily be a perfect syllogism. But when the universal is joined to the minor, or the terms are arranged in some other way, a syllogism is impossible. I call the major extreme that in which the middle is, and the minor that which is under the middle. For let A be present with every B, but B with some C. If then to be predicated of every is what has been asserted from the first, A must necessarily be present with some C, and if A is present with no B, but B with some C, A must necessarily not be present with some C. For what we mean by the being predicated of no one has been defined, so that there will be a perfect syllogism. In like manner, if B, C being affirmative, be indefinite, for there will be the same syllogism, both of the indefinite and of that which is assumed as a particular. If indeed to the minor extreme an universal affirmative or negative be added, there will not be a syllogism, whether the indefinite or particular affirms or denies. E.g., if A is or is not present with some B, but B is present to every C, let the terms of affirmation be good, habit, prudence, and those of negation good, habit, ignorance. Example 3. Some habit is not good. All prudence is a habit. All prudence is good. Some habit is not good. All ignorance is a habit. No ignorance is good. Again, if B is present with no C, but A is present or is not present with some B, or not with every B, neither thus will there be a syllogism. Let the terms of being present with every individual be white, horse, swan, but those of being present with no one be white, horse, crow. Example 4. Some horse is not white. No swan is a horse. Every swan is white. Some horse is not white. No crow is a horse. No crow is white. The same also may be taken if A, B, be indefinite. Neither will there be a syllogism when to the major extreme the universal affirmative or negative is added, but to the minor a particular negative, whether it be indefinitely or particularly taken, e.g., if A is present with every B, but B is not present with some, or not with every C. For to what the middle is not present, to this, both to every and to none, the first will be consequent. For let the terms animal, man, white, be supposed. Afterwards, from among those white things of which man is not predicated, let swan and snow be taken. Hence, animal is predicated of every individual of the one, but of no individual of the other, wherefore there will not be a syllogism. Example 5. Every man is an animal. Something white, i.e. a swan, is not a man. Every swan is an animal. Every man is an animal. Something white, i.e. snow, is not a man. No snow is an animal. Again, let A be present with no B, but B not be present with some C. Let the terms also be inanimate, man, white. Then let swan and snow be taken from those white things, of which man is not predicated, for inanimate is predicated of every individual of the one, but of no individual of the other. Example 6. No man is inanimate. Something white, i.e. snow, is not a man. All snow is inanimate. No man is inanimate. Something white, i.e. a swan, is not a man. No swan is inanimate. Once more, since it is indefinite for B not to be present with some C, for it is truly asserted that it is not present with some C, whether it is present with none, or not with every C, such terms being taken so as to be present with none, there will be no syllogism, and this has been declared before. Wherefore it is evident that when the terms are thus, there will not be a syllogism, since if one could be, there could be also one in these, and in like manner it may be shown if even an universal negative be taken. Nor will there by any means be a syllogism if both particular intervals be predicated either as affirmative or negative, or the one affirmative and the other negative, or the one indefinite or the other definite, or both indefinite, but let the common terms of all be animal, white, man, animal, white, stone. Example 7. Something white is not an animal. Some man is not white. Every man is an animal. Something white is not an animal. Some stone is not white. No stone is an animal. From what has been said, then, it is evident that if there be a particular syllogism in this figure, the terms must necessarily be as we have said, and that if the terms be thus, there will necessarily be a syllogism, but by no means if they are otherwise. It is also clear that all the syllogisms in this figure are perfect, for all are perfected through the first assumptions, and that all problems are demonstrated by this figure, for by this to be present with all, and with none, and with some, and not with some, are proved, and such I call the first figure. Chapter 5. Of the second figure. When the same middle term is present with every individual of the one, but with none of the other, or is present to every or to none of each, a figure of this kind I call the second figure. The middle term also in it I call that which is predicated of both extremes, and the extremes I denominate those of which this middle is predicated, the greater extreme being that which is placed near the middle, but the less that which is farther from the middle. Now the middle is placed beyond the extremes, and is first in position, wherefore by no means will there be a perfect syllogism in this figure. There may however be one both when the terms are and are not universal. And if they be universal, there will be a syllogism when the middle is present with all and with none, to whichever extreme the negation is added, but by no means in any other way. For let M be predicated of no N, but of every O. Since then a negative proposition is convertible, N will be present with no M, but M was supposed to be present with every O. Wherefore N will be present with no O, for this has been proved before. Again, if M be present with every N, but with no O, neither will O be present with any N. For if M be present with no O, neither will O be present with any M, but M was present with every N. Hence also O will be present with no N. For again the first figure is produced. Since, however, a negative proposition is converted, neither will N be present with any O. Hence there will be the same syllogism. We may also demonstrate the same things by a deduction to the impossible. It is evident, therefore, that when the terms are thus, a syllogism, though not a perfect one, is produced. For the necessary is not only perfected from first assumptions, but from other things also. If also M is predicated of every N, and of every O, there will not be a syllogism. Let the terms of being present be substance, animal, man, and of not being present, substance, animal, stone. The middle term, substance. Example 1. Every animal is a substance. Every man is a substance. Every man is an animal. Every animal is a substance. Every stone is a substance. No stone is an animal. Nor will there then be a syllogism when M is neither predicated of any N, nor of any O. Let the terms of being present be line, animal, man, but of not being present, line, animal, stone. Example 2. No animal is a line. No man is a line. Every man is an animal. No animal is a line. No stone is a line. No stone is an animal. Hence it is evident that if there is a syllogism when the terms are universal, the latter must necessarily be, as we said at the beginning, for if they are otherwise, no necessary conclusion follows. But if the middle be universal, in respect to either extreme, when universal belongs to the major either affirmatively or negatively, but to the minor particularly, and in a manner opposite to the universal, I mean by opposition, if the universal be negative, but the particular affirmative, or if the universal is affirmative, but the particular negative, it is necessary that a particular negative syllogism should result. For if M is present with no N, but with a certain O, N must necessarily not be present with a certain O, for since a negative proposition is convertible, N will be present with no M, but M was by hypothesis present with a certain O. Wherefore N will not be present with a certain O, for a syllogism is produced in the first figure. Again, if M is present with every N, but not with a certain O, N must of necessity not be present with a certain O, for if it is present with every O, and M is predicated of every N, M must necessarily be present with every O. But it was supposed not to be present with a certain O, and if M is present with every N, and not with every O, there will be a syllogism that N is not present with every O, and the demonstration will be the same. But if M is predicated of every O, but not of every N, there will not be a syllogism. Let the terms of presence be animal, substance, crow, and of absence, animal, white, crow. Example 3. Not every substance is an animal. Every crow is an animal. Every crow is a substance. Not everything white is an animal. Every crow is an animal. No crow is white. Neither will there be a syllogism when M is predicated of no O, but of a certain N. Let the terms of presence be animal, substance, stone, but of absence, animal, substance, science. Example 4. Some substance is an animal. No stone is an animal. Every stone is substance. Some substance is an animal. No science is an animal. No science is substance. When therefore universal is opposed to particular, we have declared when there will, and when there will not, be a syllogism. But when the propositions are of the same quality, as both being negative or affirmative, there will not by any means be a syllogism. For first, let them be negative, and let the universal belong to the major extreme, as let M be present with no N, and not be present with a certain O. It may happen therefore that N shall be present with every, and with no O. Let the terms of universal absence be black, snow, animal. Example 5. No snow is black. Some animal is not black. No animal is snow. But we cannot take the terms of universal presence if M is present with a certain O, and with a certain O not present. For if N is present with every O, but M with no N, M will be present with no O. But by hypothesis it was present with some O, wherefore it is not possible thus to assume the terms. We may prove it nevertheless from the indefinite. For since M was truly asserted not to be with some certain O, even if it is present with no O, yet being present with no O, there was not a syllogism. It is evident that neither now will there be one. Again, let them be affirmative, and let the universal be similarly assumed, e.g., let M be present with every N, and with a certain O. N may happen therefore to be present, both with every, and with no O. Let the terms of being present with none be white, swan, stone. Example 6. Every swan is white. Some stone is white. No stone is a swan. But we cannot assume the terms of being present with every, for the reason which we have before stated, but it may be shown from the indefinite. Example 7. Every swan is white. Some bird is not white. Every bird is a swan. Every swan is white. Every bird is a swan. Every bird is white. But if the universal be joined to the minor extreme, and M is present with no O, and is not present with some certain N, it is possible for N to be present with every, and with no O. Let the terms of presence be white, animal, crow, but of absence white, stone, crow. Example 8. Some animal is not white. No crow is white. Every crow is an animal. Some stone is not white. No crow is white. No crow is a stone. But if the propositions are affirmative, let the terms of absence be white, animal, snow. Of presence, white, animal, swan. Example 9. Some animal is white. All snow is white. No snow is an animal. Some animal is white. Every swan is white. Every swan is an animal. Therefore, it is evident, when the propositions are of the same quality, and the one universal, but the other particular, that there is by no means a syllogism. Neither, however, will there be one, if a thing be present to some one of each term, or not present, or to the one, but not to the other, or to neither universally, or indefinitely. Let the common terms of all be white, animal, man, white, animal, inanimate. Example 10. Some animal is not white. Some man is not white. Every man is an animal. Some animal is not white. Something inanimate is not white. Nothing inanimate is an animal. Wherefore it is evident from what we have stated that if the terms subsist towards each other, as has been said, there is necessarily a syllogism, and if there be a syllogism, the terms must thus subsist. It is also clear that all syllogisms in this figure are imperfect, for all of them are produced from certain assumptions, which are either of necessity in the terms, or are admitted as hypotheses, as when we demonstrate by the impossible. Lastly, it appears that an affirmative syllogism is not produced in this figure, but all are negative, both the universal and also the particular. End of chapter 5 of book 1. Recording in memory of Mitchell Edwards.